Good evening, everyone. I'm hoping that everyone is able to hear me loud and clear, and I'm visible to everyone, both on Facebook and on Zoom. Thank you very much for joining into our webinar this evening. We've been looking forward to having this webinar so that we discuss about the funding opportunity that is available at the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. My name is Mwala Mooto. I'm the one who's hosting you throughout this webinar. We're supposed to have the Director General for the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, Dr. Muwe Mungule, who should be joining us anytime soon. He's currently on his way to Choma, but definitely when he just gets in, he'll be logging onto the webinar and join in the conversation. So as we are waiting for Dr. Muwe, we are going to proceed with the presentation for today. So please, if you're able to hear me, you can give us feedback in the comment section, either on Facebook or on Zoom, for those of you that are logged in directly on Zoom. So as Mooto Holdings, we took the initiative to introduce this webinar where we are going to share more about the funding opportunity that is available at the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. This is a huge opportunity for Zambian businesses, especially, where we have a total of 365 million kwacha, which is available for funding specifically for Zambian businesses. And the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission is targeting youths, women, and the disabled. So as Mooto Holdings, being an active stakeholder in the entrepreneurship space supporting SMEs, we took up the initiative to introduce this webinar where we are able to share more about the funding opportunity and also get to discuss how you can access this funding opportunity. So to start with, I'm going to quickly talk about the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. We've received a lot of questions from the time that we placed the advert about others that are not even aware of what CEEC does, where it's located, and how you can access support from the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. So CEEC is a statutory organization under the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, which was established in 2006, specifically to support targeted citizens, which include women, youths, and the disabled. When government sat down, they realized that in the conventional financial services sector, these targeted citizens are often discriminated, and there are a lot of bottlenecks that prevent them from gaining access to the much needed financial support. That is why the commission was set up to find ways of supporting targeted citizens with financing and business development support. So the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission has got offices across all the 10 provinces, and they also have representation at district level through the District Commissioner's Office. If you want to visit their main office here in Lusaka, they are located along Les Angeles Road in Long Acres. So it's a big organization which has done a lot of work from the time that they were established in 2006. And there has been a lot of success stories, the establishment of industrial clusters, different SMEs that have gotten empowerment and financing from the commission. So currently the commission is running a call for proposals, which is aimed at supporting different businesses. And this call for proposals is clustered into different loan products. So CEEC specifically offers loan financing. This loan financing is open to any Zambian citizen and can be accessed through the portal of the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. So I'm going to briefly go through some of the loan products that are currently available through the call for proposals at the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. First thing is the marketeer booster loans. I think this is a great opportunity for those of you that are operating in the informal sector, the marketeers, those that are running booths, stands, and the likes. You're able to gain support from a minimum of a 500 kwacha to a 5,000 kwacha at 0% interest. So this is a very good opportunity for those of you that are still starting out in business and you're not able to meet the requirements of the other bigger loan products that are there. So the marketeer loan is open for anybody, and you can access the application through the District Commissioner's Office, and you can submit it either directly to a CEEC office or through the DC's office, and it will be submitted to the commission. Next, we have the trade finance loans. I'm going to speak more about these loans when we proceed through the other products, because this is a special financing product which I think most of you will be able to benefit from. The other one is the light manufacturing and light manufacturing financing loans. So these ones are for those of you that are involved in light manufacturing, not really heavy duty. There are some of you that are involved in manufacturing of different things. Maybe you are doing window frames, you are doing metal fabrications and the likes, you are involved in light manufacturing. So this is a good loan product for you, and it's going at 12% interest rate per annum. We have agricultural mechanization loans. There are those of you that are running farms and you want to drill a borehole, you want to do an irrigation system, you want to do to purchase a tractor that can be used in plowing and the likes. That can be, this is also another good opportunity for you to mechanize your agricultural venture. So for those of you that have contacted us before about drilling boreholes, about irrigation issues on your farms, this is a good opportunity for you to gain access to finance at an affordable percentage of 12% per annum. Then we have auto mechanics finance loans. These are specifically for those of you that are operating in mechanics, you're running a garage, you are a driver who intends to start repairing vehicles. This is a good opportunity for you to also get an affordable loan at a 12% interest. Then we have agro-processing loans. These are for those of you that intend to process. Maybe you're involved in poultry and you'd want to start doing sausages or dressing your chickens. This one is specifically for those of you that are going to be processing. So if you want to also do value addition to vegetables, you want to do meal and these other things, all that falls under the category of agro-processing, and you would definitely qualify for this kind of financing. Then we have the ICT, innovation, media, creative arts and cultural loans. So these are specifically for those of you that are operating in the creative arts industry. Maybe you're a musician, you're a producer. ICT, for those of you that are doing tech-related projects. Maybe you are running an IT hub, you are setting up an e-commerce platform, you are setting up a virtual platform that is used to coordinate different activities. All these are some of the activities that can fall under this funding window, and it's also going at an annual interest rate of 12%. Then there is the trade finance facility. So this one is specifically to assist those businesses that are already operating and they want working capital. So for example, you want to expand your operations, maybe explore international markets, or you want to explore a new market and you want to be able to meet the demand in this new market. The trade finance loan is a good opportunity for you to be able to implement this expansion that you want to do. The goodness with the trade financing loans is that they can be accessed throughout the year. All these other loan products that I have mentioned are only accessible up to the 23rd of September. But for the trade financing loans, you can apply at any time of the year, and CEEC is able to provide you with working capital as long as you're able to meet and demonstrate that you have the market for the products that you're going to produce. So this is a good opportunity for you to expand your business and explore new markets. So having shared these loan products, I also want to talk about the common misconceptions when it comes to these particular opportunities. I've gotten a lot of feedback from a number of young people that are interested in applying, and they have often highlighted different excuses of why they might not be willing to apply. So that's why I cited out 3 main common misconceptions that I would want to tackle as we are getting through this webinar. The first one is the aspect of connections. It has been consistent from the time that we started advertising the webinar, and I've also gone through the CEEC page. People are roasting CEEC that it's only giving money to cadres, it's only giving to those who are politically exposed and the likes. But you see, from my experience as an entrepreneur, oftentimes we exclude ourselves from certain opportunities because of misconceptions that we have heard from people. Majority of the people that are talking of CEEC only providing funding to people that are politically exposed or cadres have never even submitted an application to CEEC themselves, or they don't even understand how to apply or to access the empowerment fund. But because they have heard somebody who has spoken of the corruption or the favoritism that is at the commission, they are quick to judge and say that this empowerment fund is only for the politically exposed. You see, oftentimes when opportunities are presented, if you don't put yourself forward, there is no way that you can be considered. Having worked for the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission myself for 3 years before leaving the commission, I participated in the process of receiving applications, screening applications, and I can tell you that it's a rigorous process where different stakeholders are involved for a decision to be finally made. And in most cases, you will find that the people that will proceed to make an application are people that have got knowledge or people that have an understanding on governance issues. So it's either maybe they belong to a political party, or they have got friends who work at the commission, or they have got a friend who works in the government who has shared that information with them. So you find that because these are the majority or the only ones that have applied, you'll find that they are the only ones that have been selected, or in most cases, they are the majority of those that have been selected. And people would say that, look, they have only selected those that are politically connected or those that are already enlightened about these issues. But in the actual sense, the reason is because they are the ones that have applied. There is no way that the commission can consider an application from people that have not lodged it. So the first point is for you to make the application. And you see, in most cases, it is very common for us to categorize and think of corruptions, even when it comes to processes that we don't understand about. I'll give you another practical example of late last year when Zanaco had advertised for the Quasar program. When I had highlighted to some of my colleagues to say we are going to proceed and lodge an application, the common response that I got was, oh, this is a program, maybe Zanaco has already selected their relatives, or there are people that are working at Zanaco, unless you bribe them, that's when you can win this money. There are no people that win this money. Definitely, you just waste your time and the likes. But I proceeded and went ahead and made the application. When we were shortlisted, I didn't know anybody from Zanaco. I don't even know the MD, the director, any head or a manager. I don't know anybody from Zanaco. I went through like any other participants. 50 of us began to audition, and we went through the program. We proved our business concept, and Zanaco was able to buy into the idea, and we were selected and given the 1 million funding. So this is a practical example of how often people have excluded themselves from opportunities because of misconceptions that they might not even have evidence about. If we had sat back and said, oh, this program is only for those that have got somebody that they know at Zanaco, or it's only for those that are connected to one of the judges and the likes, we wouldn't have benefited from that funding. But because we decided to put ourselves out there and proved ourselves that we deserve the funding and we have a good business model that is supposed to be considered, we were able to get the funding. There are a number of such kind of funding opportunities that I can give reference to. Another one is the one for the African Development Bank. Last year, we got funding of about 2 million from the African Development Bank. A proposal was made for SMEs across Africa to apply, and they will be given 2 million each for them to expand their climate adaptive projects. The same response again was given. Oftentimes when I would share this with some colleagues and some friends and family members, they would talk about how only those that are connected to those institutions will get the funding. But because we put ourselves out there, when the winners were announced at COP26, despite of us not having stepped foot at the African Development Bank or even knowing any person from the African Development Bank, we were announced as the top prize winners across Africa, and we were given the funding of 2 million kwacha. So why am I sharing these stories? I'm sharing this because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we have excluded ourselves from opportunities because of misconceptions that we cannot substantiate, because of corruption that we are only perceiving without even understanding how the process is done. But you see, for you to be considered for these opportunities, you need to put yourself forward. If you walk onto the table and present your solution, then people are going to know about it. I know that we live in a corrupt world, but you see, when you demonstrate your capabilities, there comes a time when even corruption cannot stand in your way, but they will have to give you that opportunity. So when it comes to this particular misconception, I want to encourage everybody who has got a good business idea out there and you'd want to benefit from this empowerment fund, please don't be discouraged about issues of connections, about issues of corruption. Just put together a good application and send it to the commission, and definitely you are going to be considered. The second misconception is the issue of the procedure to apply being too rigorous. I don't know where this conception is coming from because the portal has just been launched. I've gone through the application process myself. We are assisting some of our clients to do the applications, and we're also doing applications for some of our businesses. And definitely the process is so smooth. You create an account, you proceed to do your online application, and then you upload your completed application either through a Word or PDF document and you submit. So that is a process which any person, as long as you have got internet connectivity, you have a laptop, you have your phone, you should be able to go through that process. Even when you read through the application itself, I'm going to share it on the screen and discuss it into details. When we read through the application itself, you'll find that they are only requesting for specific information about your business, which you will need to highlight. The issue that you need to understand is for a financier to consider you for possible funding, you need to demonstrate that you have the necessary prerequisites. That is the reason why the application document requires you to give as much information as possible. That is why it requires you to be able to articulate more about your business, from the problem statement you are resolving, the innovative solution you're bringing on the table, your marketing strategy, your products that you need to be able to implement this business. All these are prerequisites for them to be able to make a proper decision. So the aspect of saying that for you to apply, it's too long and you're not able to make it, is completely eliminated, because this is part of the processes that you will have to follow. As an entrepreneur, you definitely need to have an understanding of your business. You should be able to provide information about your business. So when the commission is asking you to complete an application, you shouldn't say that, no, this application is too long, I'm not able to provide the information. It is your role to read through the application and provide the information which the commission needs. Oftentimes we find it lazy for us to complete the whole application thinking that it's too long, but yet in the actual sense, that application can be completed even within a day or two. So the aspect of saying that the procedure is too long is definitely not relevant. There are actually longer application processes. Some of the funding that we have participated in as Mooto Holdings have required us to bring in a lot of documentation, due diligence procedures, audited financial statements, and the likes. But when you look at the documentation which is being requested by the commission, this is basic documentation like a PACRA certificate, like a TIPIN certificate. And you see, for you to get a TIPIN, it's free. For you to get a PACRA certificate, it's a once-off payment. If you are registering a company that is supposed to be incorporated, you are just paying as low an affordable fee of about 1,000, which is a once-off payment. If you are a sole trade or a partnership, I think you're just paying about less than a 500 kwacha. And these are all once-off payments. So definitely the aspect of saying that the commission is requesting for a lot of documentation is a lame excuse that I wouldn't encourage any of you, our entrepreneurs, or those of you that are listening to us, to subscribe to, because most of these processes are things that you are able to meet, and the documentation which they are requesting for is documentation which you can easily provide as an entrepreneur. The other misconception is on the aspect of collateral. I've seen this big time in most of the posts that we have made to say, no, the commission is discriminating against young people because they are asking for collateral, and also because they are talking about us providing evidence of any assets that we need and the likes. So what you need to understand is, as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that for a financier to consider you for funding, there should be some form of security which you are providing. So any financial institution that you will go to would need to secure the kind of financing that they are providing to you. So even the commission itself, despite being a government-owned institution, they need to secure the funding that they are providing, because mind you, some of this funding is coming from stakeholders or partners, such as maybe the African Development Bank, the World Bank, the government itself, and the likes. And the commission needs to provide evidence of how these funds are going to be secured once they have been dispersed to their targeted citizens. So that is why the aspect of collateral is a very important issue that the commission has to put in place to demonstrate to prospective financiers, to the commission or to the government itself, that the financing that is going to be distributed is going to be secured. However, I'm very glad to take note that the commission is actually accepting movable assets as collateral. So some of you have got cars. Your vehicle qualifies to be considered as a movable asset, which you can pledge as collateral. Some of you have got equipment that you are using in your business. Maybe it's a printing machine, furniture that you are using. All those can be put down together and registered into a collateral register, which can then be used for you to gain access to finance. I've gotten funding before from the banks. A good example I can give is AB Bank. We've gotten funding of 200,000 kwacha through a loan, and we have used a vehicle sometimes. So the aspect of collateral should not be something that should completely discourage you from applying, because the commission has left it open for you to provide movable assets as collateral, which I can tell you that in most cases, conventional financial institutions do not accept or for land. But with the commission, they're requesting for movable assets. You can bring in your vehicles, you can bring in your equipment, you can bring in your livestock. Actually, PACRA has got a process of you registering your livestock, and it can be pledged as collateral to the commission also. So this is an opportunity which should not bypass you simply because you have heard people say, no, CEEC is requiring a lot of collateral and the likes. No, 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 no. Collateral goes with the amount that you are requesting for. So if, for example, you're just requesting for a 50,000 kwacha loan or a 10,000 kwacha loan, they will not definitely request for a house. If you're able to provide your small vehicle, which is a VITS, which might be valued at 50,000 kwacha, it means you qualify for a loan anything below 50,000 kwacha. So that should not be a point of discouragement to you, but that means actually you are able to prove to the commission that the loan that they are providing to you is secure and you are pledging your assets as security for that particular loan. The good thing also is because for the marketeer loans, which I've explained about here, you don't need any collateral for that, and they're actually at no interest. So for those of you that are still starting out small in business, this is a good loan product that you can get from the commission. And if you don't have collateral, you don't have a vehicle, you don't have equipment, you don't have furniture, you're a young person who wants to start out a business, a good product that you can go for is the marketeer loans. I've also seen about the presidential awards. All those are non-repayable. You don't need any collateral as long as you're able to demonstrate that you meet the conditions of any of the products. You are able to get the funding from the commission without you bringing on board the collateral issue. So these three misconceptions are things that should not prevent us from getting this financial support from the commission. Oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we are quick to judge institutions from a distance without you having engaged these institutions to understand the processes and the requirements. And we have shut doors for ourselves. So my message to all of you that are attending the webinar, that are watching us live, is that let us approach the commission. Let's go through the processes. Let's not just look at people's comments on Facebook and say that we do not qualify, but yet we have not understood the processes and the requirements. Let's knock on the doors and be able to access the funding that has been pledged to us. So I just wanted to quickly go through these misconceptions so that they are cleared out. And even as we begin to engage more with you, as we work towards submitting all those applications before the 23rd of September, there shouldn't be excuses. We should be positive and look forward to submitting your application and meet all the conditions so that we are able to get the funding. So I can see that the Director General for CEEC has just joined in, Dr. Muwe Mungule. I'm going to ask admin to quickly bring him in so that we can begin our engagement with him. So Dr. Muwe Mungule is already in. Before we proceed to start looking at the application document itself, to go through how to complete the application, I'll quickly bring in Dr. Muwe Mungule just to ask a few questions and for him to address some of these common misconceptions that I have already highlighted here. Dr. Mungule, are you able to hear me? Good evening. Good evening, Doc. I can see that your mic is on mute. Kindly unmute your mic.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Mwala Mooto. I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, though the line is breaking.
I'll continue hearing you.
Hello, can you hear me, Dr. Mungule?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Thank you very much for joining us in this webinar. We have over 200 attendees that are attending directly via Zoom, and a lot of others are watching us live on Facebook. So they have been looking forward to having you on this webinar and to get to hear firsthand information from you. So as Mooto Holdings, we usually hold these webinars twice a month, just to discuss different aspects about SME development and to provide business development support to SMEs and prospective entrepreneurs. So this time we decided to invite you so that you bring in first-hand information about the commission, about the current running call for proposal. Most of our attendees have already expressed interest in applying, but there are certain things we would want you to clarify on. So maybe to start with, I would ask you to just give us more details about this current running call for proposals. What is it for, and how much money is available through this call for proposals?
Thank you so much. And good evening, listeners, those watching also and seeing us through the other platforms. I appreciate your very commendable work, Mooto Holdings, that you are undertaking. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you very well, Doc. We can hear you.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Let me just begin by saying we do have an opportunity through the enabling of our government for our SMEs to update. And we, as the Commission, have in total 365 million kwacha that is allocated to the empowerment products that we have offloaded, which are currently being advertised. And just in summary, we have, I believe, most of you have gone through the list, but I can just
Hello, are you there, Dr. Mungule?
mention them.
Hello, are you there, Dr. Mungule? Can you hear me? I think his line is breaking. Hello, can you hear me, Dr. Mungule? His line is breaking. It must be an internet connectivity issue. He's on his way to Choma. They are going through all the provinces in the country to sensitize about the current call for proposals. So if you're actually in Southern Province, you can get in touch with the Commission to find out where they are exactly, and you can join in the
Can you hear me? Hello, Mwala, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well now.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think I just have bad connectivity, but I was just explaining the marketeer booster loan, and I was saying this is double-barreled in the sense that we have a component that focuses on individuals, and then we have the other component that focuses on the cooperative or the entity itself that will onboard the marketeers. And the way it will work is that the marketeers, we expect them to be members of an existing cooperative. Oh my goodness. I'm not too sure. Guys, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. We can hear you very well.
Okay.
Actually, you're very clear now.
Thank you so much. So the marketeer, the individual loan that will go to the marketeers.
Hello, Dr. Mungule, are you there?
Ranging between 500 kwacha to 5 interest, no 6 months.
Yes, you're clear.
Ranges, up to, yeah, it goes up to 500,000 kwacha. Okay. And the idea is to organize or establish marketeer businesses that are formal, in the sense, for instance, from a cooperative perspective, that will run as formal enterprises, and we will then be the space or the entity that will drive formalization of businesses at the level of marketeers. We believe they are in such a stage, or I think at the moment we can say we can mobilize those types of enterprises formally.
Okay, thank you very much for that information, Doc. So another information that we would want from you is how
organize
long
them
will
formally,
it take
and then
for the funding to be finally dispersed? Because the common concern that we are getting from most of our attendees is the commission takes long to disperse the funding. So we understand that you are currently receiving applications up to the 23rd of September, but from there you begin the screening process. So how long will it take for the recipients or the applicants to finally receive the funds?
Good question. The way we are going to do it this time around, we will not wait for the closing date for us to start assessing the applications. The closing date is 23rd of this month, September. The applications will be assessed on a rolling basis. We assess them as they come every week. So we don't wait for the closing date anymore. And therefore I can inform the audience that we will be pretty fast in assessing the applications.
Okay, so does it mean the whole 365 million that has been allocated is going to be disbursed before end of this year?
That's correct. That's the money that we have to disperse before the end of, or by the end of December.
Okay, so that's very good information.
There is a significant amount.
Consistently the concern of saying the process takes too long. So you clarifying to say that actually the commission is assessing this application on a rolling basis. When an application is received, they begin the screening process, and you are targeting to have the entire 365 million dispersed at least before the end of the year. That's a very good answer to us.
If I may also just indicate something, Mwala.
Yes, please.
If I may just say something also, there is a big chunk of that, about 83 million kwacha, which will go for the operationalization of industrial yards.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. Then
entrepreneurs that are interested. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask to say, you can shed more light about your targeted citizens as the commission. There is a lot of concerns from young people, from women and others who feel they're underprivileged and they might not be able to meet any or some of the conditions that you have highlighted. So is there any deliberate mechanism that you have put in place as a commission to ensure that marginalized citizens are also able to get a good share of this in this call for proposals?
Good question, Mwala. The commission is intended for the beneficiation of the targeted citizens. Now, who are they? They are the historically marginalized Zambians, men and women, youth, and also female youth, and as well as persons living with disabilities. And they are also for targeted companies, citizen-owned, citizen-influenced, and citizen-empowered, according to the definitions provided in the Act. So my encouragement to those that feel left out is for them to realize that CEEC is in fact meant for them. CEEC is meant for those that feel they were historically marginalized. And CEEC is not, in fact, just for urban-based enterprises or individuals. Like now, we will be speaking to both urban and rural districts here in Southern Province. And please
Yes.
just embrace our offering. It's meant for you. Now, here is the issue. We are looking for quality applications. We are looking for applications that will help the government change the game. You see, we are a conduit of government for the purposes of actualizing economic empowerment of our citizens. And not just that, we would like to ensure that our country is not just a primary producer of commodities. We would like to upscale to the level of processing, to the level of value addition. And this time around, that's what CEEC would like to achieve, to fast track economic development through increased productivity as well as increased processing, high value processing.
Okay.
System is access international markets. So we are not talking about just producing for someone's local district or rural place, but actually producing quality products that can compete globally. So when we are talking of financing you in terms of acquiring equipment or processing equipment, it's for the SMEs to understand what we are talking about. This is an upscaled approach. We are talking about helping the government to actualize the vision, which has been espoused by our president, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. We want to ensure that we are not just a place that outsiders come to get our raw materials. If you go to Western Province, for instance, they have wonderful timber. We don't want those logs to be leaving the province just like that. We want finished products, high value processed wood products to be leaving Western Province.
Okay.
If you talk of cashew, we don't want Western Province to just be supplying unprocessed cashew to other parts of the country or indeed even outside Zambia. We are looking at actually using Western Province as the base for high value processed cashew nut products. So that's the construction that we are talking about. So for those that are intending to apply, just to get us very clear, we have pitched this quite highly so that you can help us and help the government to achieve our vision. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's very good information. I think the DG is very clear that the kind of funding that the Commission wants to provide is for value addition so that it isn't wasted. So we have a lot of you that are in the poultry sector, that are in the horticulture. there's no need for you to continue throwing that tomato and making losses at Soweto. If you bring in a good application to the commission, they are willing to give you equipment so that you're able to begin processing your tomatoes or to begin processing your chickens, which is, I think, is very commendable to the commission. I think before we sum up, there are just a few questions that are coming up in the chat box. One thing that is coming out prominent, DG, is that the citizens are saying the commission or the government is much more focused on corporate. So what about those that are running limited companies or those that are running sole trades or partnerships? So in this call for proposals, are you going to consider people that have registered sole trades or partnerships or those that are running limited companies?
Very good question, actually. Let me put it this way. CEEC is part of government initiative in the direction of formalizing the informal sector. So we are not just into funding, by the way, we are also into ensuring that we organize our business enterprises in a manner appropriate and formal. So whatever formal organization that you can say is acceptable with PACRA, that's what we are talking about. You know, we are talking about you can enter into this arena through
Sorry, the line is breaking again. Are you able to hear me, Doc? Hello, are you there, Dr. Mungule? Okay, I think just to summarize, Dr. Mungule was answering to say, for those of you that are running sole trades or companies, you are not excluded. The reason why there is often a mention of cooperatives is because there's a deliberate policy by the government to support cooperatives so that we also include those in the informal sector. So it means whether you're running a partnership, you're running a sole trade, you're running a limited company, as long as you have got a registration certificate from PACRA, you still qualify for funding from the commission. So this is a clear guidance that is being given by the Director General himself. So you shouldn't feel excluded because you're not a member of a cooperative. Actually, you can apply directly for your business. The first step is to just have your business registered through PACRA. You get the tax clearance certificate and the tipping certificate from ZRA, and you will qualify to get the funding from the commission. So the doc has just dropped off. I think it's because he's still on his way to Choma. If he gets back, we'll still address the last two questions. But if he doesn't, we'll proceed to look at the application document. So we just want to have a quick go through of the application document for those of you that are applying so that we explain certain specific parts which are of concern to some of you. So let me just share my screen so that we can go through the application document. You should be able to see my screen now. I'm not seeing the application though. Okay, so this is the document that you will have to complete when submitting your application. So you need to understand that each of the loan products that are provided have their own application document. So the first step is to download the application on the CEEC website, depending on the product you're applying for. If you are applying for agro-processing, it means you are going to download the agro-processing application, which is the one I'm showing here. If you are applying for the ones for mechanization, you download the one for mechanization. So you need to download a specific application. So after you have created your account on the application portal, you will proceed to complete an online application where you just enter specific information about your business. Then at the end, you will have to upload this application, which we are going to go through, which is now going to assist you to finalize the whole process and submit it. So the first point is where you're just giving basic information about your application. So as you can see from my screen, which I have shared, on this, you are just telling us the type of business which you are, whether you're a limited company, are you a cooperative, or are you a sole trade? And this will be verified through the PACRA registration document that you are going to share. The next part is where you specify which type of a citizen are you. I think you heard it very clear from the Director General himself that CEEC is specifically targeting marginalized citizens. What we mean by marginalized citizens are those citizens which are or who are often excluded from the conventional financial services sector, such as the banks and other financial institutions. So these will include women, youths, and the disabled. In most cases, this category of citizens is discriminated because they might not be able to meet conditions that are laid out by these financial institutions, or sometimes they are just generally not considered, they're generally considered to be high-risk individuals. So you need to specify whether you fall in this category. So by you clicking here, you're actually giving yourself an added advantage to demonstrate that you are part of the targeted citizens of the commission. The other thing is just basic information about your business. I can see that the DG is in. Hi, DG, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much. So just two more questions that are remaining. The other one is there is a consistent question on the aspect of collateral. Some of these applicants have got land, but it's traditional land. So is the commission accepting traditional land as collateral?
Thank you so much. Regarding collateral, in fact, I was going to come to that also. What the commission can do is to appreciate that land in Zambia can either be state land or communal, or customary land. And with the customary land, you obviously cannot use it for collateral. But what we can do, realizing that customary land can actually be converted into state land, we would encourage the individuals then who are affected. You have land, let's say 100 hectares, and it's not titled, and you would like to have it for collateral. We obviously would encourage you to get into that process. And we can appreciate where the process is as you are making the application, because we understand the process for converting customary land into state land. That process is doable in our country. And there's no reason why one would think that they cannot achieve that, provided you meet the requirements in the context of the traditional land leadership. Okay. The second part in that aspect of collateral, Mwala, I wanted to mention that our focus is to encourage entrepreneurs who have entrepreneurial opportunities to apply. What we want to appreciate, first and foremost, is your entrepreneurial opportunity. We want to see growth objective clearly indicated. We want to see your innovation. We want to see that you are espousing what we are talking about, like I mentioned earlier, in terms of high value proposition. What is it you want to do which will help us develop this economy? Okay, now that's important for us. So yes, and you explained it very nicely. I heard your explanation, Mwala, as I was joining. We need to ensure two things. We want to ensure minimized failure rate of businesses. That we will do through hand-holding those that will receive the loans, ensuring that they have training before and after disbursement. That's very important for us. So we need to ensure capacity building. But the second thing that we would like to do is to minimize loss of our money. Okay, the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission is in the business of building a sustainable revolving fund. So we need the loan to revolve. We need the loan to be repaid, but we also need to hedge that loan so that we minimize the risk of loss of the money.
Yes. Are you there, Dr. Mungule?
You explained it clearly. So collateral plays that role. Now, is to ensure that we are also innovative in the way. Yes, can you still get me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Hello, Mwala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well, Doc.
Hello?
I can hear you very well. Okay, he's dropped out again. We'll give him time for him to get back. So I was talking about the application information, which is where you're completing basic data about yourself and about your business. The next part is where you're giving information about the shareholders of the business. So if you are a cooperative, this is where you're listing the cooperative members. If you are a limited company, this is where you're listing the subscribed shareholders. If you are a sole trade, it means you're just going to put details about yourself or about your partners. So this is the next part, which you will have to complete. Then document 3 is talking about your business information. So under the business information, this is where you now currently explain what is your business doing right now.
Could you stop somewhere here? Simon, could you stop somewhere here? I need to finish the meeting. At least I have network here. Hello, can you hear me? Just pack. Thanks. Hello? Hello?
You able to hear me, DG?
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear
hear you very well.
Okay, I hope this will remain appropriate in terms of connectivity. So I was just saying that in the process of our desire to minimize loss, hedge the funds, we cannot afford a situation where we give out loans carelessly and then end up losing.
Yes.
And you see, this is government. We can't afford to give it out carelessly. So even those that are saying they don't have anything to offer as collateral, we just want to assure you that you are part of the game. We like I said, our focus is on your entrepreneurial opportunity, not so much you having collateral, because you can have collateral, but what you're proposing is not as appealing. So I think let the SMEs get it very clearly. Yes, collateral is very important. Yes, securitization is important, and that has to be done. And by the way, Mwala, I can also talk about the trade finance. I don't know if you mentioned this one.
I think you can shed more information about it. You can shed more information on the trade finance.
Don't just need money for equipment. We believe most of them actually just need money, short-term financing, to help them, either access the export market or be able to bring in
DG, are you there? Can you hear me? Our network seems to be breaking again.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I was just explaining that the trade finance product is another very special product that SMEs should actually focus on, especially those that would need
Yes.
short-term financing, which lasts maximum
Yes.
repayment period is 12 months. And this one,
Yes.
Mwala, has no closing date.
Yes.
Even now you can apply and create documentation, proof that it's agreement, whereby, for example, if you want to supply, let's say, goats to the Democratic Republic of Congo, we will, provided you have appropriate documentation, we then can go into a tripartite agreement where we help you supply goats, and once you are paid, the money does not come to you, but comes to CEEC. CEEC takes its share in terms of the loan amount that you are given with the 12% interest, and then we give you your profit from the deal. That's a clean way of doing business, trying to help SMEs to quickly undertake that which they have planned to, be it in terms of accessing the export market, or actually moving goods they are making, or in fact you might even want to go into bulking. We are still in the marketing season of grains. You may want to bulk a lot of grain, let's say maize or soybean, with a view to do bulk selling. This is an opportunity also. You can actually go for trade finance, and CEC would be in a position to help you. You can use this also, for instance, if you have a crop and it's at a level you want to apply top dressing fertilizer and you have run out of money, we can move in.
Yes.
You can come to CEC. We can help you. All we do is to ensure that your crop is insured so that we minimize loss. For us, that's a very important principle. And then we can insure it, let's say, at price. And once the crop is harvested and you sell, then CEC can get its share. There are a number of innovative arrangements that we have put in place. My encouragement to the SMEs and the cooperatives is that this is your opportunity. This is really your wonderful opportunity to participate. Thank you so much. I think you had the second question. Let me hear that one also.
Okay, so the last question, which is coming out regularly, is on the issue of the previous loan applicants. There was a call for proposals under the aquaculture project, and some of our participants here had submitted applications, but they have not gotten any feedback. So are they expecting any feedback soon, or has this program been cancelled?
Very good question. Let me explain here and say that CEC has new management, it has a new board, and it belongs to a new ministry, yes. The Ministry of SMEs.
Yes.
The loan, rather the applications that were approved but never got any disbursement, those applications will all have to be reassessed for the purposes of ensuring that we are not funding what can't fly. So we will subject them to due diligence, we will subject them to reassessment. So those that will meet the criteria will obviously be funded. And that's what we are doing even at the moment. These visits that we are making are also for the purposes of ensuring that financed partially, and they need additional funding or to fund them the remaining amount. We will not do that until we and on the basis of. So the idea is to avoid financing projects that are non-performing.
Okay. Thank you very much for that information. I think it's clear that those applications that were submitted and have not been funded will have to be reassessed by the commission, and they'll give feedback on that. So definitely, if you want to follow up on your application, you can engage the commission and they can provide you with any feedback. So we should be summing up our webinar now, and we'll have a quick through of the application document. But thank you very much for joining in the conversation at such a short notice, DG. We understand that you have actually been on the road and you have managed to spare some time to get into this conversation. It is a good opportunity for the SMEs that have joined in, and I think they have gotten first-hand information directly from you. One quick takeaway that I can point out from the engagements with the Director General of the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission himself is that firstly, the Commission is focused on value addition projects. So your business should be adding value. So if you are in agribusiness, you need to demonstrate how you are adding value. If you are in manufacturing, you need to demonstrate how you're adding value. The second takeaway from the DG is that the issue of collateral should not be a big concern to you. What the commission is looking out for is to understand your entrepreneurial capacity. So you should demonstrate that you have an innovation, and this innovation is able to work. After you have brought it on the table, then we can talk of collateral. So don't be quick as an entrepreneur to say that, no, I don't have collateral, I'm not applying. Go there and demonstrate. Then the commission is going to find a way. So that's one good takeaway that we are picking from the DG. Another takeaway is on the aspect of trade financing. For those of you that are already in business, oftentimes as a consulting firm, we get requests from people that have got orders that they are failing to meet and they want quick financing. Instead of going for expensive, exorbitant overdrafts and soft loans from exploitative institutions or black market money lenders, you can go to the commission and get trade financing at a minimum interest fee of 12%. And that is something that they're able to provide for you. So those are the quick takeaway points that I can highlight from the Director General himself. I can see that he's back. DG, you can give us your closing remarks before we sum you up and we proceed to the application document. Are there any final words that you want to give to the SMEs that are watching us on Facebook or those that are joining us live in this webinar?
Thank you so much, Mwala. My plea really is that please don't exclude yourself. Let no one feel that they don't qualify. This is your opportunity. And if you are one of those in the category targeted citizens, just come forth. That's number one. Number two, please remember, this is a competition. Obviously, there will be many more applications than we can fund. So you need to realize that we are looking for quality applications. So take your time. Yes. And my encouragement is that this is an online application process. You can actually download the application form and spend time completing it. Then when you have time, you can just do copy and paste, onto the online process so that you complete it quickly and ensure that you have all the necessary documents.
Okay.
You are to attach.
Thank you very much,
just
DG.
ensure that you meet all the requirements. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence. We will engage you further on any other concerns or any other issues that we want to clarify on. We appreciate your presence in this webinar, and as Mooto Holdings, we are very much impressed with you responding to this call on a short notice, and the information that you have shared is very helpful. We have over 200 participants that are here, and most of these are running businesses or they're intending to set up a business. So definitely the information that they have gotten from here will now enable them to complete the application process with confidence, to understand that actually the commission is there for them and they are not marginalized or discriminated from this particular opportunity which is provided by the commission. So thank you very much, DG, and have a good trip. We will now proceed to the application document that I had shared. So we just want to do a quick wrap up of the application document. A common concern that has come out is to say that the application is very difficult to complete. So what I was saying is the second part is where you're just completing information about your business. So this is where you are explaining your current business operation. So if you are currently doing poultry, you explain about what you're doing in poultry. You are keeping broilers, you are doing village chickens, you are doing layers, you give details about that. The next part is you explain about the challenges that you are facing as a business. So they have actually given examples. Maybe you are failing to meet your demand. So for example, your processing capacity is small, but yet you have a huge market. That is an example of a challenge you can highlight. Maybe you have a challenge with machinery. You're actually using everything by manual. So you can highlight that as a potential challenge which your business is facing. Then you also have to explain that if funded, clearly explain how your business will operate from production, processing to the market. So you now give an overview of how your business is going to operate. So if, for example, you are in the horticulture, explain how you grow your tomatoes, explain how you now process, whether you're doing tomato paste, whether you're drying the tomatoes, then also explain how you go to the market. Are you going to set up outlets? Are you going to go through the supermarkets or the chain stores, or are you going to go through the groceries? So you need to provide a full explanation of the value chain process, starting from production to processing and up to the market. The fourth one is you list all the equipment that will be needed in the manufacturing of your product. So this is where we now begin to list the actual equipment that is needed, the amount, which is the price, and you can get this information by getting quotations on these particular products that you are seeking to get, or this particular equipment that you'd want to bring in. The next part is where you're talking of financial information. Financial information, you're giving an overview. What are the volumes that you are going to produce? So if you're talking of tomatoes, how many hectares are you doing of tomatoes? How many crates are you going to be producing? Or how many tons or kgs are you going to be processing? If you are doing chickens, how many beds? If you are in manufacturing, how many units are you going to produce? So this is just a matter of you giving statistics or actual volumes of the amount of production that you are going to produce as a business. Then what is your production capacity per month after the loan? So in the first part, you are talking about your current production capacity now. In the next part, you're not talking about after you have received this loan, where do you now expect to go? So this is where the DG was explaining to say they intend to assist you to expand or to improve on your capacity. So you should demonstrate this from this part of the application by stating, for example, that if you are currently producing 100 pigs, after this loan that will be given to you, you will now move from 100 pigs to 500 pigs. Then from there, you now explain what will be the price of your product. They want to understand what is the value for money of the products that you are going to produce. Then you proceed to talk about your monthly revenues and also talk about how much will your monthly gross profit be, just to give a brief analysis of your financials. So most of these things are not technical. Revenue is what you are selling. So if you are selling chickens at 20 kwacha 1 and you are selling 100 chickens, it means your revenue is going to be 2,000. Your cost of production is how much does it cost for you to produce this chicken. So for example, if you add your cost of feed, your cost of the chicks, it's coming to 10 kwacha per chicken. It means your cost of production for the 100 chickens is now 1,000 kwacha. And your gross profit is the revenue minus cost of production. It gives you gross profit of 1,000 kwacha. So that's simple mathematics, and there's nothing technical about that. So it's just a matter of you sitting down to calculate, to say from these volumes that I've highlighted here, how much will I sell them at? Then you'll be able to know your revenue. Then how much will it cost me to produce these things? Then you get your cost of production. Then you now do revenue minus the cost of production. Then you have the gross profit. Nothing technical, and it's something that can be completed. The next part is where you're now talking about the benefits of your business. How will it benefit your customers? So begin to explain how it will also benefit your suppliers. So an example of how you can explain how it benefits your customers is by illustrating, for example, that currently your customers are getting your products from somewhere very far, or they are getting it at a high price, and now you are going to provide the product closer to them. So you can also explain about the benefit to your suppliers. For example, some of you will set up processing facilities. So you can elaborate to the commission to say in your entire community, people have to take their products to Lusaka, maybe to have them processed, or they have to sell on the open market at a very low price. But with the establishment of your facility in this particular locality, people will now be able to sell their products at a good price, and they would have an available market for their product. So that's a good benefit that you'll be able to illustrate to the commission. Then you also now begin to explain about your revenue generation before the commission and after the funding that you would have gotten from the commission. The D part, you're talking of the number of workers. Illustrate after you have gotten the funding. How many women will you employ? How many men? How many youths? And what is the total workforce? So all these are figures that you can put up yourself. Currently, how many people have you employed? After you have increased on your capacity from the CEEC funding, how many people will you now be able to employ? Then the next part, you now begin to list the specific items that you are going to purchase from the CEEC loan. So you explain the item, the quantity, which is the number of those items, the cost that it is per unit, and then the total cost. Total cost, you're just doing quantity multiplied by the unit cost, and you get the total cost. So that's simple information and simple mathematics that each of you should be able to take note of. Then there is the client contribution. I think in the last webinar that we had, I emphasized on the aspect of co-financing. It's actually good practice to illustrate to a potential financier that there is something that you are also bringing on the table. So if you are applying, for example, for a loan of 50,000, if you can demonstrate that you also have a 10,000 or a 20,000 that you will bring as your contribution to the business, it can give you competitive advantage because it illustrates that there is a shared risk between yourself and the commission. But this does not mean that if you don't have any contribution, then you'll be excluded. No, you can still proceed and make your application. But if you are bringing something also, it presents a perception of shared risk, and it gives you competitive advantage to other loan applicants that are there. Then the other part, this is where you're now listing your collateral that you are pledging, and you bring in the value of the collateral. The value can be estimated going with the current market prices, but definitely I know that once you are shortlisted after the due diligence stage, they might now request for a valuation report, that's if it's property and the likes. But at this point of application, you can approximate the market value of the product that you intend to pledge in as collateral. And this is the end. Then you sign the document and send it through, upload it on the portal, and you will be able to get feedback from the commission. So the application document is just a 6-page document. So I often get surprised when I see comments when we are advertising and engaging with entrepreneurs and SMEs that the process is too rigorous, because this is just a 6-page document which you can complete. If you have seen, there is nothing which is requiring you to put in very long paragraphs. It's just a matter of you summarizing and bringing forward the straightforward information, and then you are able to submit. So within a day, you can complete this whole application and upload it. And there's no issues of saying, no, I don't have transport money of going to long acres. You can do it on your phone. After you have created your account, filled in the online application, completed this document, you upload it, and you click on submit in the comfort of your own home, and your application is going to be reviewed and you get feedback. So definitely there is no excuse of why you should not benefit from this particular opportunity. Everything has already been simplified for you. The application process is simple. The information has been given to you. And through this webinar, we have also brought on board the Director General to give you first-hand information on why this opportunity is open for any of you to access. So I'm just going to quickly go through the questions section just to answer a few of the questions that have been highlighted. Or maybe before we go through the questions, there might be those that have raised hands. I'm going to open for you to ask questions. So you can ask your questions. For those of you that have raised hands, we can start with any of the first ones that can go. We're just going to get about, I think, 3-4 questions. So the first one can start. Just unmute your mic and ask your question. Mr. Andrew, I can see your hand is on. Mr. Ernest Limbongo, your hand is on. You can ask your question. Okay, I'll have to unmute your mic. I'm trying to find a way of unmuting. Okay. You can unmute your mic and ask your question. Or somebody from admin can unmute their mic so that people are able to ask any questions that they have. I'll go through the chat box as they are unmuting the mic so that you are able to ask questions directly. Okay, Andrew, you can please ask your question. Okay, I can see that Mr. Andrew is still not audible to us here. Okay, we're running out of time actually. So we are just going to proceed and just answer a few questions from those that are in the chat box. And we are going to close out the seminar. So we are going to share a completed application just as a sample on some of the things that I've highlighted here. Then also a recording of this webinar is going to be available on our website, and we'll send out an email to all of you registered attendees so that you can log in and listen to the webinar if you haven't been able to follow us through the whole process. So, Mr. Andrew, I can see you popping up, and are you able to hear me? Can you speak up? The mic is still muted. Thank you very much for everybody who has been able to join us in this webinar. All your questions that have not been answered will still be answered directly. There is a team that is looking into these questions. We have your contacts. If your question is not addressed, you can still send us a message directly via WhatsApp or via Facebook, and we will be able to directly answer your question. Thank you very much for joining into the webinar, and we will share all the materials, which will include the recording, a completed application, and any other information that you would want to find out. Please get in touch directly with us, either through Facebook, WhatsApp, or by directly calling us on the numbers which are available on our website, on our Facebook page, and on all our social media platforms. So thank you very much for joining into the webinar. We wish you a lovely night, and we hope to engage more with you as you begin to submit your applications. If you want support from Mooto Holdings to assist you with completing the application process, you can get in touch with us tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.